Hello everybody, today we'll be reading The Odd Ones Are How to Be Cool and other things I definitely got learned from growing up. Chapter 2, Here is a Moth. My grandmother's nickname for me is Cricket. I don't know how she came up with the name, and it doesn't have anything to do with the next story, except that they deal with bugs. When you wish upon a star or something. I'm not really an insect fan. Ladybugs are okay, I guess. Gentleman bugs, not so much. If you ask the most people what their favorite bug is, more often than not, they'll tell you that it's butterflies, which is weird since butterflies are basically just colorful moths. But for some reason, everybody thinks butterflies are better than moths. We make children's books about butterflies. We use them as metaphors of change. We go out into fields and frolic around trying to catch them with nets, and some people even collect them. Granted, those people then impale the butterflies onto boards for display, but whatever, it's still a compliment. How many other insects can say they get that much affection? Imagine if we loved the cockroaches this much. Moths, on the other hand, are like the white trash version of butterflies. Even though moths and butterflies are practically the same creatures, we give moths a bad rap. We laugh at them for flying into light bulbs, even though butterflies would do that too if they weren't asleep at night. Moths are so attracted to bright light that they'll follow one even if it kills them. You might think this sort of behavior makes them stupid, but I prefer to think it shows how dedicated they can be. Beautiful, mullet. Hello, beautiful. We even get mad at moths for eating our clothes, but if butterflies like the taste of our clothing, they wouldn't hesitate to chomp down on our laundry. Actually, butterflies probably think they're too good for your clothing. They enjoy only the finer things in life, like flowers. You hear that? Butterflies think they're too good for you. And your t-shirts. Yeah, not really. Gross. In Arizona, we have your normal run-of-the-mill moths. You know the type I'm talking about, small, gray, and they look sort of like somebody's bad paper airplane design. But we also have something called a white-lined sphinx moth. And these moths are like the Godzillas of the moth world. Actually, I think there is a giant moth in the Godzilla universe. This is how much we don't like moths. We turn them into city-destroying monsters. When will the hate end? I'm sure when they filmed the monster, they didn't have to use any special effects. They just used the white-lined sphinx moth. Those things could beat up hummingbirds if they wanted. One night when I was 5 years old, one of these big boys was chilling at our porch lights, just hanging out because it loved the lights, and it was very a very dedicated creature. Try finding a butterfly that wants to hang out on your doorstep. Not gonna happen. Then I guess someone opened the door and he got inside the house. More lights. This place is absolutely glimmering. Your moth's fate was sealed as soon as it crossed the threshold. I don't know what the moth did once he was inside our house. He's hungry for clothes. Hour 8. My rations have been depleted. These are desperate times. But whatever the mouse was doing, it sure tired him out. So next morning, my sister and I found him on the kitchen windowsill, just lying there, probably thinking about being outside again and trying to escape. He'd pretty much given up, or maybe he was asleep, because we scooped him up and put him into a jar, and he became our new pet. Can we keep him, Mom? He broke into our house. Face decided to call him Harry. This moth wasn't Harry at all, so the name didn't make sense. But we were 5, so it didn't have to. Around the same time, we adopted a stray calico cat. We called her Calico. Really, Harry should have been thankful he didn't end up with the name Moth. We put leaves in his jar, which might have been a good idea if he was still a caterpillar, but we were sure we were just taking good care of him. We probably should have just fed him t-shirts. My mom wasn't as thrilled as we were to have a new pet moth. I have a good idea, she said. Why don't you take Harry to kindergarten tomorrow? And I don't know, maybe he can be a class pet there. This was back then. I thought my mom had a good ideas. So we decided to take Harry to school because how cool would it be to bring the class a pet you'd capture and enslaved yourself. The teacher realized pretty quickly that having a class pet whose lifespan was shorter than the school year wasn't a smart idea. Instead of keeping Harry and studying nature in the educational sort of way, or at least watching him grow lethargic and despondent, drink in hand, watching his stories on the TV, she decided we could learn about the nature by taking Harry out at recess and releasing him. It seemed like a good idea to us, but we were 5. This was back when I saw my teacher had good ideas. A lot of kids' movies have talking animals in them, and usually these animals don't like to be captured. They want to be free and live out in the wild. Think Finding Nemo, Spirit, and Happy Feet. It's common knowledge to 5-year-olds that every creature walking this earth wants to live in the wild. It wants to be free. The teacher probably suggested releasing him so she wouldn't have to come to school one day and explain to the room full of horrified 5-year-olds why the class pet was lying on its back with his legs stiffly pointing in the air. He's sleeping. Speaking of setting pets free, my family adopted a lot of stray cats. My mother used to quote the movie Spirit as she put them outside at night and say things like, "Go and run free. Win back your freedom. Don't worry about us. We'll carry on without you." Unsurprisingly, the cats enjoyed their captivity and always came back in the morning, probably because of the free food. Where's food? Anyway, we all trooped out during recess, excited to be part of the school's newly instituted catch and release moth program. We were like those people who put beached whales back in the ocean, except in this metaphor, the whale was already in the ocean, minding its own business, and two dumb kindergarteners shoved it in a fishbowl and moved it miles away from its home. This was supposed to be a happy kids movie moment, seeing the moth get rehabilitated into moth society. But what actually happened was quite different. We gathered around the teacher. She opened the jar, and then she had to shake Harry out of the jar because we've already established that Harry wasn't all that smart. Eventually, he understood he was free. What is that? Free. That the whole sky was waiting there above him. All that light, he flew upwards of wings fluttering, ready to reclaim his height. It is a moth life. Oh, wait, hang on. Well, it turns out there's a good reason giant moths only come out at night, and that's mostly because of the camouflage and the fact that their predators are asleep. Harry had neither of those advantages at our playground in the middle of the day. Yee-yee! Not 10 seconds went by when a bird from a neighboring tree swooped down and grabbed Harry in its beak. Harry had been a free moth for a good 10 seconds before his painful, inevitable death. Immediately, the entire kindergarten class began screaming. My sister ran after the bird, demanding that he release Harry. Unfortunately, birds don't listen to his demands from shrieking 5-year-olds. So then the teacher had to give us a talk about how nature is a lot scarier than it's portrayed in the movies. Basically, the circle of life involves a lot of death, but on the bright side, we totally made the birds stay. I wonder what I'm gonna eat. Whack. He was just sitting in a tree, probably wishing Arizona had more worms, and then boom, free meal for all I know. That could have been the bird's first time eating a moth. I'm sure that bird had told all of his bird friends, and they totally didn't believe him. He probably said something like, "Dude, I just got a moth, like one of those big ones. Yeah, in the middle of the day. It was just flying around. No, I'm telling the truth, dude. There were like 30 children who all saw me. Ask any one of them, they'll tell you I caught that moth." I don't remember what happened for the rest of the day during school, but I'm pretty sure we didn't get much done. When we got home, my sister tearfully told my mom about Harry had met his doom. My mom got really emotional about it. She said she was trying not to cry, but I'm not so sure about that. I think she was trying to not laugh, and that's how we scared our entire kindergarten class about Aesop. I think I should end my stories with moral, so if the story were to have a moral, it would be that sometimes the late bird gets the moth. Also, if you want to have a pet, make sure you get one that's not easily edible.